Hey, welcome in, fans, to another episode of the Two Line Pass podcast. I'm Randon. Here with me is Ryan. Dustin is out on the road. He will be unavailable, scratched as it were. But Ryan, here we are, the start of the month of March. Can you believe we're already here? So much time has gone by. We've been out of the studio for so long, but here we are. We're back. How you feeling?
It's been good. Had about a month off. The league took about 3 or 4 weeks off there. Had a little fun trip to Milan. We didn't have a fun trip to Milan, but I did enjoy waking up at, 5:30 on a Saturday or a Sunday, whichever it was, to watch the gold medal game. Congratulations, Clayton Keller, on your gold medal. I guess you got a couple.
He got it.
There.
He's on the
you
team. He's on the team. Time on ice. Nobody remembers that. Nobody tracks the time on ice. They only track the gold medal.
Clayton Keller got a shout out from Eddie Olczyk during the second period when we were kind of doing nothing and just on our heels, getting dominated by Canada, which was most of the game for all of those who didn't watch. But Eddie Olczyk was like, you got a guy like Clayton Keller just sitting on the bench. Put him out there. See what happens. He can make plays. He does it in Utah. And I was like, oh, that's the most nice time Clayton Keller is about to get is from Eddie Olczyk.
Well, here's the problem. Clayton Keller doesn't play defense very often, and we needed defense. We needed defense.
Yeah, but we've come back to not necessarily the best start to being back, but not the worst it could be.
No. And let's just recap, because I don't want to get too much into the game-by-game Olympics. You guys all watched it. I'm assuming if you're listening to this podcast, there's not a doubt in my mind that you watched the Olympics. You know what's going on. There's not a doubt in my mind that you haven't seen the way the Mammoth have played. We'll give you the brief rundown. Lost to Colorado, win against the Wild, lost to Chicago. I don't even want to talk about the Chicago game. But they still sit in the number one wild card spot. I know, right? I don't remember it.
When was that?
I know we've got Chicago coming up, but I don't remember them playing.
I must have just slept through it or something. I don't know.
Hey,
I actually did. I fell asleep in the middle of the intermission between the first and the second. I was like, "This is bad," and I passed out.
Speaking of forgettable losses to the Blackhawks, I don't want to alert anybody or alarm anybody, but that was our second loss of the season to the Blackhawks. So we're now 0-2 on the season with the Blackhawks, and we got two upcoming meetings.
Do the Blackhawks have our number? That's not.
They may.
That's what is it? We're to both of their goalies now because we lost tonight the first one.
In Soderstrom, one of the worst goalies in the league. Now, if you ask,
that's
Coach,
not something to panic about, right?
No,
it's not yet, right? In like 4 or 5 years when they're good, right? Then it'll be panic mode.
It is one of those questions about when can it be panic mode, but we'll see how in the month of March goes, right? Because right now you're still in the driver's seat, still 66 points. You're still 1 point ahead of Seattle in that second wildcard spot, and you're 4 points ahead of the Kings, the Predators, and the Sharks. So that's what you got to worry about.
It's not going good for any of those three teams.
No.
Really.
No.
So
on paper, the Kings got better. On the ice, they did not. So we're looking at
coach.
It all comes down to one thing, and we are 2 days away from it, 3 days away from it, depending on your mathing, the trade deadline. And that's where I want to begin on this episode, because that's what this all comes down to, is what teams are in a position to make moves, make additions to extend their run into the playoffs and to chase a Stanley Cup. Now, not everybody that makes a move is a contender, and not everybody who sells is necessarily tanking. But teams are going to be looking to make moves at the trade deadline to get better, to solidify their position, or to acquire assets for the future. So we're going to open up with the question on everybody's mind before we get into player names. Ryan, are the Utah Mammoth buying, selling, staying pat the deadline?
In my heart, I hope we're buyers just to kind of show the league that, hey, we are here. You know what I mean? Because, if you don't buy at the trade deadline when you're in a wild card, you're kind of just saying, we're just going to see what happens. But if you sell, you're giving up. You know what I mean? But if you buy and throw away a bunch of stuff for rentals, I don't know. In my heart believes we're going to stand like this is blackjack. We're just going to stand on our 17. Is it good? Sure, it's fine. You know what I mean? I guess, is the definition of, it's fine. I guess. Maybe take the hit. Take a hit. See what happens.
Well, a 17 can win if the dealer busts. So that's what we're hoping for.
The problem, though, is the dealer is Colorado, Dallas, and Minnesota. And
They're
we
all
all
showing
know
nines.
they're hitting. They are smacking it.
I mean, some teams have already made moves, right? So Vegas has already made moves before the trade deadline. Minnesota has already made moves before the deadline.
Still
Colorado
gonna make a move.
have not. Minnesota's looking to still fill in some
They
gaps.
they got Gerard. They dumped him out to Pittsburgh. So I guess Colorado made a move.
Yeah, they made.
They
did make a move.
But
That's
think
true.
about it. If you're
To your credit, they did
Colorado,
make a move.
do you need a move? You're the most dominant team in the NHL. You figure out your power play, and you guys are back in business.
They were part of the biggest move all season last year, which happened before the deadline, if I recall correctly. Well, weeks before the deadline, because then there was the second,
December, didn't it?
Yeah, because then it was the secondary move that Carolina made, and so like that was a big thing. That was the talk of the trade, right? And so we're wondering like, oh, what's that next ballpark? But there's already been big swings before the trade deadline, and Utah hasn't been involved in any of them, right? Quinn Hughes goes to Minnesota, Aaron goes to LA, and a whole host of other smaller moves, but there's still some names out there. And we talked a lot about this on this podcast about maybe trying to get into Bill Armstrong's mind, right? Like, what does Bill Armstrong do? And one of the things we mentioned a lot of is that Logan Cooley comes back from injury. He's back now, played all 3 games after the break, looks fine, looks healthy, looks fast as he's ever looked. And that was kind of what we were thinking. That's going to be the move, right? Our move is simply getting Logan Cooley and, luckily enough, Alex Kerfoot.
I was going to say Alexander Kerfoot.
Yeah, and so our boys are back on the ice now. And so is that the move? And I think if I have to really look into my heart of hearts and my soul of souls and my mammoth tusks of tusks, I have to believe that those are the moves, and we will do nada at the deadline. Zilch, zero, nada. No moves, no nothing. We won't even facilitate a trade. If I had to guess, that would be my guess. But where there's smoke, there's sometimes fire. And there is a lot of smoke around one particular player who was not on anybody's draft board before this. But a couple of days ago on his podcast, Elliot Friedman made mention that Robert Thomas, center from the St. Louis Blues, was getting some interest around the league. And one of the names that he put that was generating this interest was the Utah Mammoth. Was there any definitive source, any news, any comments or anything? No, it was just a feeling he had. And the connection he made to it, this is Elliot Friedman, is that Bill Armstrong drafted Robert Thomas. And so there's a connection there. And that comment spawned, I mean, I've probably seen 25 different trade packages that we could get Robert Thomas. Now, if you're not familiar with Robert Thomas's game, don't be alarmed. He's been injured since early January. In fact, I think he just came back on the ice recently. So, yes, Ryan.
He stepped back. He took a little mental health break. Nobody really knows what was that about. But the main thing I wanted to bring up is don't really kind of ignore the headlines. He's a point per game player. That is why everybody wants him. And through his career, not just this year, and like through his career, been a point per game. And you don't get that every day.
No, you do not. And not at the coveted center position. And even better,
and
one of the
big
price. Reasons. Exactly. His contract under $9 million for another 5 years for whoever gets him. That's what makes him attractive, because he is a good 1C. He is a great 2C, and he is way above you. It's horrible if you ever play him at the 3C. He's a 1 center or a 2 center. Whether or not he's like a definitive elite game. 1 center, it doesn't matter. But yeah.
No, that price per game it's so sweet. Especially with the cap going up. And 5 years, that's more than enough time. So you give up a first round pick for that.
That's what the trades would be offering, because this is not something like a Panarin situation in New York or a Quinn Hughes situation where the guy wants out, the guy has all the powers, his no movement clause makes it so there's only 1 or 2 teams he can go to, he gets to choose, and you basically have to take the deal that the player's team wants, or you just lose him for nothing, right? That's not the case with Robert Thomas. St. Louis has no real incentive to trade him. He is and could be a fundamental piece of their retool. I won't call it quite a rebuild, but he could be and should be a fundamental piece of their future. So there's no incentive for them to trade him unless the package is right. So some of the packages we've been seeing, I mean, almost universally, they all include a first round draft pick. Almost every trade package I've seen, there's only been one or two that it's like they give him a Desnoyers and a Ginla and a second round pick type thing. Otherwise, first round draft pick, right? And then you got to give away one of your top, no offense to Cole Baudouin, but you're not really in the conversation here. We're talking about Caleb Desnoyers or we're talking about Tisha Ginla. And then they want to throw in a sweetener.
Boot's not in that?
Boot has been thrown as the sweetener. Alex Kerfoot has been thrown in the sweetener.
Hey, whoa. Let's hit the brakes on that one.
For cap space reasons. And then, of course, Mammoth players are like, we'll trade you Hayton for Thomas straight up. How about that? And it's like, okay, guys, come on now. Everybody hates Hayton.
That's like...
I still don't understand it.
No, that's a trade you make on NHL, like, 26 when you have when you have trades turned to automatically like they have to accept no matter.
You trick the GM.
They're like, it's a fair trade. It's like, is it?
That's the argument would be is, okay, well, he's a center that can play now, right? Like, sure, he is technically a center that could play now. Now, some of the Blues fans are out there saying, oh yeah, well, you give us Logan Cooley, we'll take it, So there's a lot of ridiculousness going on.
Keller for side. Thomas, straight up.
Straight up.
Is the only one-to-one we're giving you. It's Keller for Thomas.
So let me ask you, Ryan, everything you know about Robert Thomas, his contract, his production, and his position, would you trade for Robert Thomas? And what deal are you offering St. Louis that you think they would accept or not?
I mean, yeah, who's not trading for Robert Thomas? He's got the best, it's a pretty sweet 5-year contract. It's pretty tasty. And it's not like we don't have the assets to do it. It's just, are we willing to do it? And is he going to be the game changer we need? Because I don't think offense is necessarily our problem. Sure, we need an upgraded center, but I don't know if anybody's noticed, but our number 1 and number 2 defensemen have just sucked the entire year, and we all just have to accept it. We're all just accepting Sergachev and Dursey both being... send them... I don't want to get rid of a Ginla, but I also don't want to get rid of the French kid. I don't know how to say his name, whatever
Desnoyers is how I'm saying it.
Desnoyers, yeah, that guy. Boot, a first-rounder, and a third? I don't know. Do they want somebody who can play now? Throw in O'Brien. St. Louis loves a tough guy. Throw in O'Brien.
Nobody knows what they want because I don't even think the trade is actually there.
Yeah, is he legitimately on the table, or is this one of those things where St. Louis will listen to 2 teams to be like, all right, what are you going to give us? We're not just hearing out everyone.
Up until this time, the people, you were looking at, Jordan Kyrou was kind of talked about, moving from St. Louis. Jordan Bennington was talking about. Braden Shen was talked about. Those are the guys that are talking about moving on from St. Louis. But you're looking at it, a lot of those times, I think we tunnel vision into, okay, you got to have 1 or 2 years left on your contract, and then you're on the trade block, right? That's if you have 1 or 2 years, you're good. If you have 3 or more years, you're not on the trade block. And that script is flipped now with Robert Thomas because his contract is so attractive. And maybe that's why his name got floated, because Elliot Friedman knows that contract and that player are so tantalizing, you can't help but speculate about what another team might give, especially a team like Utah, which, let's be honest, on all of the trade needs, regardless of what our defensemen are doing, everybody seems to universally agree that the need is a center, right? But that was kind of also before Nick Schmaltz wasn't a terrible center. I mean, Nick Schmaltz has been quite good in that 1C role. I don't think he's the 1C of the future, but he can get us through this year.
He's the 1C right now. He's having a great year.
He is. He really is. So I don't know if that changes the calculus, because then Bill Armstrong can say, you know what? I don't need a center as much as I did before. And so if you want to give me your center, that's fine. But what if it's something like Desnoyers, Boot in the first round? Yay or nay?
For 5 years. So, yeah, I'm taking that. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because
Mhm.
like on the lowest end of that, we get a Ginla with brought up in 2 years, hopefully. We don't need Boot. I don't think we need him. He didn't really
No,
do much.
I have not been impressed with him.
Is nobody looking for a defenseman? We got a guy named Lamoureux. He's pretty. He seems
That
like
he his name was
I feel like he
his name
should be
was dangled.
attractive. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Mhm.
But I
His
also
name
just feel
absolutely was
like
floated.
I don't think Utah's gonna do it. I don't think we're the Robert Thomas team. I think sleeper team out of nowhere is gonna be Buffalo. Buffalo's gonna do
They
something. Like
second in the Atlantic. They went from like literally what's our draft lottery spot to are
we'll
we
just
cup
win the East.
contenders?
We'll just win the I guess Carolina, but we'll just take second in the East.
I mean,
But
I would love to see them make the playoffs, which it seems like they're going
they
to.
will, yeah.
And I would love them to be a force in
Actual
the
contender.
yes, yes.
They need
So
something.
we'll see.
They're on a hut.
We'll see
But
how it
anyway, back
goes.
to us. I don't think we're the Robert Thomas team. I feel like we're more of like another smaller away kind of Bill Armstrong. You know what I mean? Like maybe do something small, get another bottom six guy to shore up that. My dream would be this is not going to happen, but ship off one of the top two guys. I know Sergachev's contract, nobody's taking him from us. We're just kind of stuck with him. Jersey's got to be attractive to some cup team.
I
Hey,
really think he is.
let's trade D for D. What Washington? We'll trade Dersey for Chikrin. That seems like a fair deal. I don't know. Sure. I would rather us get another defenseman to or just play D Simone more. But also, you're not going to bench Sergachev or Dersey, which that's the two problems. Mainly Sergachev. He's been like the last couple games. He doesn't even care. Like that dude does not give a shit.
He's not the same player he was last year, certainly. And I don't know if that
No.
was because he was hamstrung with Shimashev for half the season and he kind of felt like maybe he was playing a babysitter role and that wasn't what he
Yeah.
signed up for. But of course, Dersey was injured, like he always seems to be. And so, like, I felt like you got to trade Dersey now while he's healthy. He is
Might as
skating,
well.
like, get rid of him because you know he's going to miss 20 to 30 games next season for something. So
Yeah,
get
it's
rid of
just
him
not-
now while his stock
It
is high.
hasn't worked out with Dersey, has it? We all thought it was going to, and it just hasn't worked out for the guy.
He's a fan favorite. He's a handsome dude. He waved and winked at us when I was rinkside. But I'll tell you one thing I would like to see if we're talking trades. I kind of want to see a shore up in goal because I thought for sure Vitek Vanacek would start against the Blackhawks. Now, I know that Veggie has had weeks of rest. He did not get to start in the Olympics like we kind of all thought he would, at least one preliminary round game, but he didn't. And so he got just as much rest as everybody else did, or relatively so. See, like, why you would start him for these first 3 games at home. However, like, let us not forget, this is almost the exact same time of the year. We didn't have the full Olympic break last year, but this is right around the time when Veggie's 25 game start streak was in at 23 or 25, whatever it ended up being. And that was when we were on the outside looking into the playoff race. And Turney's argument was, we have to, right? We have to get into the playoffs. Well, now you're into the playoffs. Like, are you still going to start him for the next 20 plus games and then hope that he's good to go for the first round? Like, we got to work in Vanacek at least 4 or 5 more times, in my opinion, for the end of the season, so that Veggie can be in the top of his game come the playoffs. So I wouldn't mind if you've literally lost trust in Vitek Vanacek, go find a goalie that you don't completely not have faith in, right? Because you got to give Veggie some rest. You cannot put 20 plus games on him and then hope to get anything out of him in the playoffs. As good as we think Veggie is, I just don't want to see it again, right? We wanted to see an increased load for him this year. We got that, but I also wanted to see a little bit of trust in our backup. And Vitek has played great his last few starts. Even if he hasn't gotten a lot of wins, he's played great. So if you're not going to start him, go grab a goalie.
How many, what did you say? We have 21, 23 games left? Something like
So
that?
we have 58 games played. There's 82 games in the season, so 24 games left by my math.
24?
Somebody fact check me
So-
on that, but I think 24
Anyway, yeah.
after,
Good enough.
like, at the airing of this episode.
Okay, so that means if Turney is probably going to do what he's going to do, Vamelka plays 20 of those, knowing
Yeah,
Turney.
probably. I mean, I
That's-
think that likely, and
Have we all learned the Winnipeg mistake yet? Like, as good as Connor Hellebuck is, you can't ride him for 66 games into the playoffs and expect him to be a stud. Like, but also, like,
And
what
Veggie's no
backup goalie do
Hellebuck.
you
Let's be
No,
honest.
no.
Veggie's no
No, he's
Hellebuck.
good, but he's no Hellebuck. But who do you go and get?
Jordan Bennington, damn it. Get the Binners.
The problem,
Big time
Brandon, we have
Binners.
been over this. He's not going to come be a backup. He'll not show up. He just won't get on the plane.
No, he won't. Okay, here's what we do. We call up the Minnesota Wild, right? We call up Bill Guerin and we say, hey, bud, you got a little friend I like to call Yespy. Yespy McGespy Wallstead. And I know that you're going to ride Gustafsson into the playoffs. What do you want for old Jesper? Because I'll be honest, I took like 55 pictures of Jesper Wallstad in the game. That dude comes to the bench at every break. So he was at the bench quite often, right in front of me, and I took like 60,000 pictures of him. So I'm already his biggest fan here in Utah.
Kind of gay.
Well, he's a handsome man. Have you seen Jesper Wallstad without his goalie?
I have not.
He is a handsome Swede. I'll tell you that much.
Isn't it crazy that Billy G would be shopping the goalie of the future when it's like, dude, just get rid of Gustafsson. What are you doing? If you're gonna shop any of them, get rid of Gustafsson.
Nobody knew Wallstead would be this good. He was just a backup before the season, and then he ended up being good.
I mean, but like, I feel like the asking price for Wallstead would be even more insane than
Nick
the asking
Schmaltz
price.
for Wallstead, straight up.
No dice. I feel like without Nick Schmaltz, like just the subtraction of Nick Schmaltz to the offense and defense and like it is not worth the addition of Jesper Wallstedt playing backup for Karel Vejmelka.
But then we go get Robert Thomas to replace Nick Schmaltz, and there we go.
That is too many moves, Brandon.
In
that case, just trade Schmaltz for Thomas.
Well, no, because we don't get Wallstead, so that's not a good trade at all. This whole thing hinged on getting Wallstead.
A 3-way trade, and somehow St. Louis ends up with like 3 first-rounders.
Yep,
Sounds like a deal to me. We end up with Wallstedt and Thomas, and St. Louis ends up with like 3 first-round picks. Minnesota gets whatever else.
Gets Nick Schmaltz. There you go, fans.
Make it work.
Like Nick Schmaltz. He's not on our team anymore, and I get to watch him go win a cup. I get to watch him win a cup.
How fast does he hang up on us if we call him like, here's our offer?
Out of respect for Clayton Keller, he at least lets us talk for 15 seconds.
He hears us out.
Yeah, he hears us out because we got to have something he wants, right? But actually, I don't know. That's the problem.
I think we do. No, I think there is stuff Billy G could want because he wants a cup now. And I think Nick Schmaltz is the kind of guy who gets you a cup now. And I'm not saying the Wallstedt for Schmaltz is a badge. I just don't like our offensive chances. If you just take away Schmaltz, what happens to everybody else? You know what I mean? Like, he's kind of been the glue this season. Like,
if we don't add and we just lose Schmaltz, to me that says we don't want him going to run. If we make the playoffs, great, but we're not trying this season. Which at this point it's too far gone to tank. Like, you can't tank anymore, right? Like,
I feel like
is over.
I would rather give up Keller than Schmaltz at this point in the year. I feel like
that is a gutsy statement.
I know, but hear me out. You get a bigger haul for Clayton Keller because the gold medal and the captain and all that. But who's been more important to our team this year, Clayton Keller or Nick Schmaltz? Let's be honest. Who?
Clayton Keller has more points, but Schmaltz has probably been more important.
Yeah, because to quote you, Randon, he has more points because he plays with Nick Schmaltz.
Nick Schmaltz kills penalties. We all know how important that is. We all watched the gold medal game. Nick Schmaltz kills penalties. Clayton Keller does not. It's that simple, right? Like,
and when
we're talking about two-way value,
Clayton Keller is younger, but I don't know. I feel like you could get a better return for Clayton Keller. And you send him to a cup team where he's like, all right, see, we didn't f you over. You know what I mean? Like, we didn't screw our captain. We sent you to Minnesota. Dude, what are you mad about? You're going to go play with Quinn Hughes.
That would be the shock of the century, wouldn't it? Like,
what,
that would be
Clayton
the shock
Keller
of the century.
for Wallstedt in like a first round?
if Clayton Keller gets traded, like that would be the most
Look,
insane
I
thing.
don't believe
The
any of that would happen.
timeline, the timeline.
I'm just
no,
saying
no.
that would be I would rather we
Hey.
do a package for Keller than Schmaltz. But how many Schmaltz is a free agent, right?
He has an
All right,
unrestricted
I
free
take back
agent
everything
next
I
year.
said. I take back everything I said. Never mind. Trade Nick Schmaltz to. You know what? That's a great trade. Take back the last 5 minutes of our conversation. Trade Nick Schmaltz for Wallstat right now. Oh, that is a great deal, Randon. I like that trade.
So here's the funny thing too, is like even Nick Schmaltz has kind of cooled off in terms of like his name was very popular on trade boards, but it has not really panned out. He's made comments that he wants to stay in Utah. It seems like they're discussing a contract extension, but whatever that number is going to be. And if we lose Nick Schmaltz for nothing, like, yeah, that kind of hurts, but I also don't want to see him traded for nothing. Like, I don't want to see draft picks for Nick Schmaltz. That does nothing for us.
No.
Like,
we're not. This deadline cannot be the retool for draft picks. It's like, no, we don't need a retool. We have the tools. Add to the tool belt.
And here's the thing too about that is, so kind of backtracking to the Robert Thomas trade about how it's going to take our top prospects, right? Like a draft pick and a top prospect minimum is what it's going to take for a guy like Robert Thomas. And a lot of people balked at it still. They're still balking at it and saying, oh no, I can't possibly lose Caleb Desnoyers. Let's all take a step back and remember that Caleb Desnoyers was a gift. We won the lottery, like 1.4% chance to move up 10 spots to number 4, right? Like, he was not some gem that we found late in the first round. Like, he was a gift that probably should not have been on our team. And so, like, you like to put all your future and all the eggs in the basket on him, a guy who plays in my opinion, the worst of all the Canadian minor league systems. And yeah, he's tearing it up.
What is he in the queue?
Yeah. And if you go look at non-first overall Q players, they're not great. They're not great. The first overall out of the Q is great because they're prodigies. The Q is the only league they can be in. So that's why they're drafted out of the Q. But if you don't go first overall out of the Q, like, you can look at some of the names and they're not franchise players. And that's what scares me about Desnoyers is I don't have any faith, or like if he was doing these things in the NCAA, I would be okay with it. But he's not. He's playing in the Q. I hate the Q. I don't like it. So the point is,
Quebec.
He is an asset, and assets can be developed or they can be used to get things, including but not limited to 1 to 2 center that has 5 years on their contract that is at best what you hope Desnoyers grows into, right? And that's after his 3-year entry-level contract, so you still have to pay him if he gets there, right? But we're saying, we get a Caleb Desnoyers now. And isn't that worth a Caleb Desnoyers now? I think it is.
I think Robert Thomas is better than a Caleb Desnoyers now. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like how many top prospects do we have? We can name 4 of them, right?
Desnoyers, Iginla, you can maybe throw Cobaudouin in there, and then probably our AHL guys.
Boot, yeah.
So Boot, Simashev, and Lamoureux.
Get rid of some of them. You know what I mean? They're all not going to be mammoths for their entire career. Get something before we find out if they even are going to be NHL players. They have interest, I guess. They have value right now being young and potential. Get rid of them while you can. You know what I mean? If you can get an NHL proven guy already for one of them, why not? How do we know all 5 of them are going to pan out? I can promise you they're not.
That's the thing about our assets is I think everybody's looking at Caleb Desnoyers specifically because Tej, I feel like sometimes Tej gets lost in the shuffle. There's a few people who are like, oh yeah, we don't want him, but it's like a lot of people, it's like, Caleb, I would never want Caleb to go. And it's like, I think they're looking at him like he is some Macklin Celebrini type player. And if he was Macklin Celebrini, he'd already be in the NHL, right? He would have made the team, even outside the wrist injury.
And T.J. Ginla has one thing Caleb, whatever, or whoever this kid is, doesn't have. His dad's not Jerome Ginla. So I feel
Excellent point.
like that adds a whole lot of things because, like, okay, we got to watch Jerome McGinley's 21 NHL season career. I watched the whole thing. My entire life, I got to watch Jerome McGinley play. You too. He's pretty good. His kid's better than him and is gonna be better than him. I'm gonna go with that over just being a French Canadian kid from the Q. Sorry, you know what I mean?
I would value it more.
I will take a Ginla on my team any day of the week. I don't care about this kid from the Q when we have 2 other ones and we already got booed in the AHL. Like, we're good. Get rid of one
And we have some other middling. We have some other middling players, and everybody, like, the cap's going up.
How many picks
Utah
do we have coming up? We have a ton, don't we?
We have 3 in the second round next year. That's have a first and 3 in the second.
Send some of them out. You know what I mean? Come on. We got moves. We got assets. Start using them for some actual value now.
And if this draft is as deep as everyone says it is, like, that first round draft pick then probably has a lot of value, even if it is a 15 to 20-ish pick, depending on where we finish in the playoffs. But you're probably looking at it's going to be a late round first round draft pick if you trade it away, which in this deep draft, maybe that's going to be fine. But Bill Armstrong's a great drafter, so he doesn't need a first round.
I feel like the NHL, like, yeah, the top picks are always, a little bit different, like Gavin McKenna and Celebrini, but they're always a little bit different than everybody else. Anybody going in the first round is a good player. Like, you're good. If you're drafting in any pick in the NHL first round is gonna pan out more than likely into something. Are they gonna be a superstar? Probably not. That's what the first pick is for. You got the top. If you get one of the top 2, you probably can get a superstar. Other than that, probably going to get a good NHL player, or at least the prospect of a good NHL player. If not, you're not going to get you might find a Matthew Schaefer, drop down to like a 17, a 20, a guy who can change your franchise. But also, if you're getting a pick at like 15 to 20, maybe you're not looking for a franchise buster. Maybe you're just looking for future pieces. And that's a good future piece to add.
At the very least, you're getting assets that you can develop. And I've said it once, I'll say it again. Why not take the type of player you expect Caleb Desnoyers to be in 5 to 6 years? Why not take that guy now? Like, I would always take that guy now versus in the future, because you still got to pay him in the future, especially with the cap going up. They're going to want more. I think you're going to start seeing, like, the Dylan Gunther cap situation, not going to happen. This great cap situation with Robert Thomas, it's not going to happen. These guys are going to get paid. Connor McDavid is not going to take a sweetheart deal in 3 years. He's going to get paid, and all of these guys are going to start getting paid. So a lot of this, the top guys are going to get paid, and then your bottom of the bottom are going to start eating up more of your cap space. And so that's where the game really comes in, is how not to overpay a bottom 6 guy just because you can, because you have the cap space. And so that's, I think, what the future GMs need to worry about.
I don't want to hear anybody trying to say Alex Kerfoot is an overpaid bottom 6 guy. You can fight me on that one, I can already hear the birds talking.
He's
we need
a great contract, but he is an unrestricted free. So let's take a look and
there's a
and
fair
see what
chance
our
Kerfoot gets
is.
moved, isn't it? I hope Kerfoot doesn't get moved.
I don't know. Like, I think, okay, so if you look at it, like, our bottom 6 is replaceable, right? Like,
all of them, yeah.
He could make an excuse and get O'Brien in there at any time. You've got Yamamoto, who's just been great and is in and out of the lineup. Yeah. So you've got guys that are hopefully going to be there. But Kyler's going to be an unrestricted free agent. Carconi is going to be an unrestricted free agent. Kevin Stenlin's an unrestricted free agent. Alex Kerfoot is an unrestricted free agent. Nick Schmaltz is an unrestricted free agent. And then guys you're probably not even considering bringing. Ian Cole is going to be a 38-year-old unrestricted free agent. I suspect he retires. And then Nick DeSimone is an unrestricted free agent.
You're crazy if you think Ian Cole's done. I think he's got one more in him.
He probably does. He probably
not
does.
With Utah. Not with Utah. But he's got one more.
He will be a 38-year-old left-handed defenseman.
How would you feel about getting Cole if we, for whatever reason, dump Cole and then DeSimone just takes his spot? I'm good with that.
I love DeSimone. I love him.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Just want to make sure
and
we're
then
on
you
the same
work
page
in
about
Simashev. You work on Simashev and Lamoureux over the next 2 years.
Yeah.
Yep, 100% I'd be okay with that. Oh, I forgot to mention, everybody loves to hate him. Barrett Hayton is a restricted free agent next year.
Take him to arbitration. So, I want to hear him defend how much he deserves. I want to hear it out of his mouth.
$6 million right now.
Never mind. Do not take him to arbitration. We will get like with McBain.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. If you're looking at
I love Jack McBain. I don't mean that, but $5.75 million is crazy for what he has given us this year.
Jack McBain has really struggled to find his offensive game this year. Now, maybe being with Logan Cooley and Dylan Gunther is going to be great, but
I hope he just starts fighting more people. I would just love if he would just beat the brakes off of everybody. Just do something, man. You know what I mean? Pull the Trent Frederick. I'm not saying go fight Matthew Olivier, but go do something.
I wish he had more. Hey, we only have a one more year on that $1 million Liam O'Brien press conference contract.
Still not the worst contract in NHL history.
No, not
it's got to be one of the more like somebody's got to be out there making funny videos of like how players got their contract, and it's like, well, here's how Liam O'Brien got $3 million for the Utah Mammoth with 2 sentences.
I tell you, what a guy. Hey, make that back, though, because a lot of players who are getting a lot of more ice time than you are making less money. So
look, Tuna's a fan favorite.
You got $1 million without playing a game.
I'll give him that. You know what I mean? I can't argue. He brings smiles to the people. I just wish he could play hockey at a better level than Paul Bissonnette. Because he's Paul Bissonnette's skill level with half of the fighting skill and a third of the actual personality.
I just want him in the press box so bad. I just want him in the press box.
It's where he belongs. Somewhere not in the ice on a roster.
He would be so great. He would just be so great. But
put him in charge of media relations. Let him be in charge of our fan relations, whatever. Like, send him to the children's hospital every week. I don't care. He'd probably love it.
He probably would. But you've got those players leaving. Bringing it full circle, you've got those players leaving, and you've got to fill it in either with our rookies or with our free agency or our trade deadline. And I think a lot of fans would love to see just all the rookies play, right? Like throw in Desnoyers, throw in Iginla, throw in Cole Baudouin. All of them get to play next year. Every single one of them. Like, that would be fine, but that doesn't make us a playoff team next year. It probably makes us worse than this year, but that's just me talking.
I would not be fine with that because, no offense to any of our rookies, we're not San Jose. We can't just throw all our rookies in there and be like, hey, Celebrini, do this. Like, sure, we got Logan Cooley and everything, but like, I don't trust those kids. You throw those 5, you know what I mean? Because then they're being led by a bunch of kids like Logan Cooley and Dylan Gunther and JJ Peterka, who doesn't speak English very well. I firmly believe he just doesn't care to learn. And he's just, you know what I mean? He just scores goals and then just kind of smiles. But I'm not okay with all the rookies coming in. Let them slowly bring them in. But we're not at the point in our career. I don't think we're at that team level where it's like, throw in the kids. We're not there. We have a legitimate team. Given a few more pieces, we are a competitor in the West. Are we in the worst division in the West to be a competitor? Yes. Does that mean it's horrible? No. Because we could beat Colorado, Minnesota, or Dallas on any given day. Can we beat them all year? No. Not the point. But I don't think we're at a point with throw all the kids in. I just wanted to throw that out.
Speaking of playoffs, so like that's why that number 1 wild card is so important, because then you get the winner of the Pacific, and then if you make it through that, you get the winner of the other 2 Pacific teams. You don't have to play a central team
out of each other.
You don't have to play a central team until the Western Conference Finals. Like,
and hey,
number 1
I'll
wild
lose in
card
5 to Dallas in the Western Conference Finals. That's fine.
It's the most important spot in the West right now is wild card 1. Whoever gets wild card 1 probably has the best path to the cup. Let's be honest, because as good as Vegas looks, they don't look like they're that. They don't. I'm not going to say the unbeatable,
easiest, but it's the safest.
Mm-hmm. You just get to play the Pacific, and that's where you want to be. The 2 and 3 spot in the Central, worst that you want. You might want to tank for that 1 seed, Minnesota. You might want to, but because then you got to face it's Minnesota, Dallas in the first round, and then you get to face Colorado after Colorado kicks the crap out of whoever is in wild card 2, whether that's the Mammoth or Seattle or San Jose or the Kings or
that blood.
Anaheim,
could you imagine
whoever
the bloodbath that Colorado Seattle or Colorado San Jose is going to be in the first round.
Yeah, it's going to be
just
bad.
pissed off Nathan McKinnon, who lost the gold medal. Oh my God. He's going to kill him. He'll kill Celebrity. He'll run him through the boards.
We at least will play Colorado tough. We may lose in 4 games and 5 games. It's going to
be a bloodbath.
But it won't be blowouts. It won't be blowouts.
No.
At least not the first few games. We've played Colorado
One
well
of them
all
will,
season.
Because I'm just going to throw this out there. My prediction, depending on how far Colorado makes it, if they're going to have at least 1 or 2 blowout games per series. It looks like that's how they're fixing to be.
But hey, maybe Cale Makar doesn't show up. Cale Makar left the building when they played Dallas last year.
Hey, they don't have a power play.
Be found.
So all you got to do is just take penalties. Literally, all you have to do is just take penalties.
Keep them on the power play.
You got to tire Nate Dogg out. Tire him out.
Let's come back last time before we move on to our roundtable discussion. Is there anybody out there that excites you in free agency? You're looking at an Azim Kadri. You're looking at anybody like that. You're looking at a Ryan O'Reilly from Nashville.
No.
An old center.
We talked about this earlier, and I said I wasn't a fan of it, but the more I think about it, it's another St. Louis player. And it's not Jordan Binnington, but I know, breaking your heart. But you were mentioning Braden Shen might be on the. I feel like Braden Shen might be the kind of guy who can come in to solidify not necessarily the top line, but you throw him in on the second line, and he just adds everything this team has been looking for. Just a savage on the ice, plays a 200-foot game, and he's already a captain. You're not going to take the C from Keller, but Braden Shen is a different kind of leader than Clayton Keller is. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to listen to Keller when he talks. You know what I mean? Because he's Clayton Keller. You know, he's a superstar. But when Braden Shen comes in and is talking to you, it's like your dad is talking to you, or like your older brother or your uncle. You know what I mean? Like there's just a certain pedigree that comes with a Braden Shen. And I think that would be a sick to see Braden Shen, Jack McBain, and Lawson Krause just, you know what I mean? That is a terrifying line. Would it happen? No. But I feel like if there is a move we could pull off, I don't think it's Robert Thomas, but we could get Braden Shen. He's not going to cost that much. There's no way.
Well, I'm going to say it. I said it before. I'm going to say it again. If we're taking a center, I want Elias Peterson from Vancouver. I know he's underperformed, but Vancouver's a dumpster fire. And even with Quinn Hughes on their team, he was a dumpster fire. But he's a 100-point guy, and I think he could be very good on our team.
I was going to say.
And we won't have to sell the farm to get him because he kind of wants out.
We might have to still give up a good haul,
we'll give
but
up
it won't
some
be
things. Won't be the Robert Thomas haul.
No, and honestly, he kind of fits in more with what this team is trying to be, which is straight up and down, off the rush, fast hockey. He can probably keep up a lot more than a Robert Thomas can. Not that Robert Thomas is slow by any means. And I'm not trying to downplay how good Robert Thomas is. But you're right. Elias Pettersson is more of like the style Billy or GMBA wants.
He costs more, but you got him through 2031. So you got him for 5 more years.
But the cap's going up, and we have cap.
And the cap's going up, yep. So that 11.6, like, it seems high, but then you have Elias Peterson and Logan Cooley as your 1C, 2C for the rest of, like, for their cup runs. And I think that's a good 1-2C.
We just go with the Oklahoma City Thunder option, and it's just pure offense all day. It was just, you guys can't beat us if we score 9 goals a game.
It's working out for Colorado. It's working for Colorado.
It worked for Edmonton.
Yep.
It might be the way to do it. Florida's the only
Jersey.
team that was like, no, we're going to play hockey. Is it dirty hockey? Yes. But do we have Alexander Barkov? Yes.
And if you don't have Sergei Bobrovsky standing on his head, then you got nothing. You know,
and honestly, now that you say it, I say, yeah, if we're going for anybody, go big, shoot for the moon, and go get Elias Pettersson. You know what I mean? They're already, go get him. Fuck it. Like, what do we have to lose? What does he have to lose? In the tank.
Vancouver's going full rebuild. They're finally, for the first time in their franchise,
tanking for McKenna.
They're going full rebuild.
They're tanking for
They're
McKenna.
going full rebuild, so you won't have to, like, a top prospect and a first round may be all you need. And then maybe you could get rid of some of the guys you don't like. Maybe you could send Barrett Hayton as a sweetener. Like,
I feel like
that's
Barrett
okay.
Hayton and one of the young kids could probably get you Elias Pettersson.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You throw Barrett Hayton and one of the kids. Pick your kid, not T.J. Ginla. Sorry. Love you, Elias Pettersson, but I'm putting all my money on T.J. Ginla.
No, you can take
you know what I mean?
Desnoyers. Take Desnoyers.
Take Desnoyers, sure.
And a
you want one of the
I would take
defensemen?
that.
You guys need a defenseman? We got a couple.
You might need, I guess, I don't know. We might not need to clear cap space, but you might. I think we have Puckpedia. I don't know how to read cap space because there's like 6 different cap numbers. But the one I think we need to focus on is $12.5 million for our playoff cap space. So we can add $12.5 million in cap space. Peterson only costs us $11.5. And if we give up Hayton, that just covered 2.6 of it. Like, that would be I know it's not a popular take amongst the fans here in Utah. But that's what I would take because he is a 100-point guy.
Say, according to the AI of Google, was that Gemini, whatever that is, it says we have $6.28 million in available cap space. Drop Hayden's 2 or whatever, right? Hayden's making 2 something. What's Petey making? 8, 9, 10?
Petey?
Elias Pettersson.
11.6.
11? Petey's making 11. We got 8 with Hayden. There's got to be a way we could make it work. You know what I mean? There's got to be. There's finagling. It's the NHL. There's ways to do stuff.
It's weird how it all works.
Here's
but
the question.
I think we have enough cap
Schmaltz
space
for
Pettersson.
Pettersson.
Yeah, I take that every day.
You take Schmaltz for
every day, every single day, twice on Sundays, every single day. I love Nick Schmaltz, but he's 5'8" right now.
So yeah, we could we do Schmaltz and Deone or whichever one of the French kids. I can't remember, even though we literally have been talking about him for 10 minutes. Schmaltz and him for Petey. You doing it?
Yeah. Yep, I'm doing it. Because at that point, I'm assuming Schmaltz is walking anyway. So if he hasn't signed an extension, I would assume he's walking.
Yeah, that kind of does play a big like, if he signs an extension or is willing to sign the extension, why hasn't he done it yet? He's also playing out of his mind, or is he going to be like, hey, Bill, or hey, GM, I'm going to test free agency. And if that's the case, do it. Do that trade immediately.
He does have a 10-team no-trade clause, which was negotiated before Vancouver sucked. Vancouver may not be on that 10-team no-trade list. I don't know who it is that's not publicly available.
Where's he from?
Those players or those teams are. He's from Wisconsin.
Damn it. This is hoping we get in a hometown. Wisconsin. Hope we can convince him. Go home, Nick. Go home.
I mean, if we do nothing at the deadline, I would love to sign Nick at $8 or $9 million. I would love that. If he gets $8 or $9 million, he gets. I think he is.
I think he gets it not from us. I think he gets it not from us. I think Bill Armstrong offers him 7.5, and Nick Schmaltz walks.
He's just a big gap to fill. He's a big gap to fill if you don't do anything at the deadline. And I don't see any rookie that can come in and give you Schmaltz numbers immediately. So
that's not happening.
That's just me.
And I don't see Peterka stepping up to fill in that role.
No. Hey, I want to ask you this. Who's our first 100-point player in franchise history?
Logan Cooley.
You think it's going to be Cooley?
Yeah.
I think it's going to come under a coach that's not
Andre Tierney? Absolutely. Yeah. As much as I love Clayton Keller, and he's a statue kind of guy probably because why not? You know what I mean? He's our first captain in Mammoth history. If he leads us to a playoff run and a good one, and not just like getting obliterated in 4 games in the first round, but we win a playoff series, give Clayton Keller a statue. I don't give a shit. But I do feel like Logan Cooley is he's the future of this franchise. He is. If you were putting a franchise tag on a player, you slap it on Logan Cooley as the one guy on the team who is untouchable. Legitimately, there's not a trade offer you can make us. I'm not giving up Logan. I don't care if it's for Connor McDavid. I'm not giving up Logan Cooley because Connor McDavid is on an expiring contract. You know what I mean? And like Logan Cooley, he only gets better. Barring catastrophic injury and failure, the kid only can go up. And he's already a 80-point player probably on a bad year. Give or take.
He would have been
If he's
with
healthy,
his production this year, if he's
I was
healthy,
gonna say, if
he's 80
he
points for
doesn't
sure
miss
this
time,
season.
he's at But
So that's the big question I have is like they spread the wealth around too much offensively. We got a lot of 20 goal scorers. So, but we don't have that one like I'm the greatest.
I want whoever the next head coach is to come in and sit Logan Cooley down and be like, look, buddy, I know you are the playmaker kind of guy. You know what I mean? You spread the love, do you? You've been doing great. Kind of need you to just become a killer. I kind of need you to just become Patrick Kane. Just say, hey, Jonathan Taves, I know you're on this team and I know you're good, but give me the goddamn puck. Just give me the fucking puck. Just be Alex Ovechkin. Be Sidney Crosby. Be Evgeny Malkin. Just be, I was going to say,
Celebrini.
Be Nathan McKinnon. Be Connor McDavid. Just, be one of the old Buffalo coaches did that with Tage Thompson, where he sat him down and he was like, look, man, you think in 5 years you're going to be a 30-goal scorer. You're already a 30-goal scorer. Do it. Just go do it. And he scored like 40 goals that year. It's like somebody just sit Cooley down and be like, just go be that killer. I know Clayton Keller, you know what I mean? I know you want to pass it and be a team. Just go be the guy. Just go take over games. Nobody's going to hate you.
Andre Tourney benching him. You got Andre Tourney benching him. That's why Andre Tourney.
And then I say we go on a bear hunt.
Yep. Terrible coach. He's out. Let's get him out.
Fire
Let's bring in Jim Hiller. Jim Hiller is available right now. He can't get any worse.
Bring in anybody. Pete DeBoer is still available.
He's still gonna be. I just say it. It's criminal that he's not a coach yet. It's criminal that he's not coaching a team to a conference finals.
Ryan Smith, just hand him the checkbook and be like, whatever, I'll pay it. Just do this.
Going to the Western Conference Finals, guaranteed.
Immediately, no matter what your roster looks like, you're going. Do you deserve it? Most of the time, no, but you still get to go.
Speaking of guarantees, we guaranteed that if we were in playoff position with Logan Cooley coming back, we would make the playoffs. So that guarantee stands. Logan Cooley's back. We're in playoff position. I guarantee we make the playoffs. However, we got a big last thing we'll talk about before we wrap this episode up. We got a big 5-game road trip coming up. We haven't played the best on the road this year, but haven't played the worst. And it's as far as it goes in terms of the scheduling, it could be a worse road trip. It's not the easiest, but it's not the worst. So we go to Washington, then we go to Philadelphia, and then we got Chicago and Minnesota, and one more team that I can't think of who it is. Let me pull this bad boy up.
Nashville?
It very well might be Nashville.
Are we swinging through Nashville? I feel like that's right in that Chicago, Minnesota. Maybe Columbus?
No, it's Columbus. It's Columbus. So we got the 5 teams on deck. Not the easiest,
Those
not the worst.
Those are 5 winnable games.
Yeah, 5 winnable for sure.
Sure, we have a good chance to win the Minnesota game.
We've already beat the Flyers in great fashion, so they're looking for revenge.
We just kicked the shit out of Minnesota, didn't we?
But Columbus, Washington, Philadelphia, they're all right around where we are in terms of points, and maybe Philadelphia's a little bit below us, but Washington has more points than us. Columbus is tied in points with us, and then we seem to not be able to beat Chicago, and then on a back-to-back, which we've historically struggled with, we get to play Minnesota, but we've historically had Minnesota's number. So that's to start it. Then we kind of have a home game or a home streak, which the home's not like the worst, but again, it's not the greatest. You play teams you're fighting. You get the Kings twice. You get the Ducks. You get the Blackhawks. You get the Oilers. And you play Washington and Pittsburgh again. Oh, by the way, you throw in the Golden Knights and Dallas in there as well. So it's like we're talking about, we're in the 1 seed now, but it's not like the month of March is like a cakewalk for this team. It is a tough stretch of games.
Especially because it's not like we're not playing the Rangers. We're not playing the bottom barrel teams. We're playing teams we need to beat, because if we can't beat them, we're not beating any teams in the playoffs.
Yeah, it's that simple.
The road trip doesn't necessarily concern me. You know what I mean? Most of those games I feel like we should win. The Minnesota and Washington games will be interesting. And then the Columbus. But that's just because I like the Columbus Blue Jackets. I like what they're doing over there. I think they match up to us very interestingly because they're a much more physical team and a much more puck, like, you know what I mean? Like, they're just going to run you down and they're just going to hurt you and they're just going to beat the shit out of you. And then they got Matthew Olivier to patrol the ice, which it's never fun because are we going to skate O'Brien against Columbus? Because why? He's not going to fight him. He's not going to fight. He's not going to do it.
I can't remember the last time Liam O'Brien dropped the gloves.
You think he's going to just walk out to an execution? No.
He's wizened up as a player, but
I was going to say, if anybody is fighting Olivier, it would be McBain, and I would feel horrible about it, because it would just not be fun.
McBain holds his own, though. McBain holds his own.
Yeah, lots of guys held their own until they stepped into the ring with Mike Tyson, Brandon. A lot of guys did.
True.
Guys did. But
hey.
The Minnesota game will be interesting, especially on the back end of a back-to-back. So we might chalk that one up to probably just, don't get your hopes up on that one. But I feel like looking at that schedule you just listed, you got to add something. If you're Bill Armstrong, you got to add. Because it's not getting any easier, you know what I mean? And you're running out of time to get better.
And I think you could really make a splash in the playoffs. I know we've got to get there and learn playoff hockey, and yeah. I get that. However, the path is there with the first wild card, with how glorious that path is of playing only Central Division opponents. Like, that is tantalizing enough for me or Pacific Division opponents. That is tantalizing enough for me to say, let's go. Let's put it together, right? Because then miracles happen on ice. So, but you got to get there first, right? And let's be honest, fans, we're all going to be scoreboard watching. We're all going to be schedule watching, because it's not just one or two teams. We're all going to be watching what the Anaheim Ducks do. We're all going to be watching what the Edmonton Oilers do. We're all going to be watching what the San Jose Sharks do, and the Kings,
the Kraken,
which
hurts to say.
Yeah, and again, they're all the Pacific teams, which the one thing that we've got going for us is they've all got to play each other still, right? We're pretty much done, with the exception of the Kings and a couple games against the Ducks. We're done playing Pacific Division opponents, but the Pacific Division still has to play the Pacific Division.
Oh, that's cool. That helps us a lot.
So
essentially,
they
free
beat
points.
up on each other.
Yeah, we have a chance to just be taking free points.
At that point, we're all rooting against overtime. Is the only thing we're doing. We're saying, please, for the love of God, don't go to overtime, which
just
the Pacific Division has a habit of doing. The Pacific Division loves the loser point. They love it to death.
You know who loves to lose in a shootout? The Pittsburgh Penguins.
Yes, they
have 13 overtime losses or something, and most of them are in the shootout. They're 0-8 in the shootout this year.
Man, what can you do? I didn't even think they were going to be in playoff position, but here they are, second in the Metro.
They didn't even think they were going to be in playoff position. Dan Muse is sitting there going, God damn it, this is not what I was supposed to. I was brought in for a rebuild. You guys are in a playoff position. What the
Hey, retool, don't rebuild. Reload, don't rebuild. That's the old adage.
We don't even need to reload. All we need to do is upgrade. To quote one of the best animated movies of all time, upgrade, people. Grades. Why be you when you can be new? Robots.
Guys,
I'm quoting robots.
It is over an hour here on the Two Line Pass podcast. This has been a great
we killed it.
Welcome back episode. Do you have any closing thoughts besides any robots, any quotes you got?
Just upgrades, people, upgrades. This is we are in a better position than we were last year to demand Bill Armstrong do something at the deadline. Last year, we weren't in this spot. We weren't looking good. It was fine that we didn't do anything. This year, you're in the best wild card spot we can be in, and we can only get better. You got 4 days left or whatever. Do something. Even if it's a bottom six guy to kind of shore up something, do something. Just to kind of let us know you're trying. Because if you want to just keep running this back with the Phoenix Coyotes roster, go back to Phoenix. I'm sorry. I don't mean that.
No, I don't want you to go back.
But also,
metaphorically,
you know what I mean? Metaphorically, you know what I mean? This, it's not working. Change it up a bit.
Leave the mindset. In Arizona, because
just do something. Upgrades, people. Upgrades.
We have assets, and assets are there to be used. I don't want to wait 5 to 6 years hoping they become the players we hope they can become.
Those
you
kids
can get a guy
are
right
electric
now.
vehicles.
You get a guy right now.
All of our prospects are electric vehicles. They are just depreciating in value the more they don't do anything. Do something with them. Get rid of them now while they're still hot. You know what I mean?
Take that road trip. Take that road trip. And by the way, guys, you still got to pay to charge them. I know that was out there. That's why we all signed up for electric vehicles. But those charging stations aren't free. They're not free. We were lied to. We were misled
We,
by
the
big
taxpayer.
electricity. We were misled by big electricity and big climate change. And I, for one, will not stand for it any longer.
You know, I got a theory. that this country was the best it's ever been when big tobacco was the big that was running all the shit. Now, granted, they killed a lot of their own satisfied customers, but think about it. Everybody was happier before the Clean Air Act of 1994 or 1996, whatever it was. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, if you work an office job or any job really at all, see how many times your coworkers go smoke and how much productivity is lost. If they could smoke at their desks, skyrocketing. AI's not taking over if we can smoke at our desks. That's
Vape.
all, folks.
Let us vape.
That's all, folks. Hey, Ryan, thanks so much for coming out tonight. Fans, it's going to be a great month of March. Trade deadline is looming. Let's go, Mammoth, and everybody out there. Have a great night.